Grand Rising, everybody. Do you want to know something funny? Not really funny, but cool. So the school that my kids go to, I'm starting off crazy already. The school that my kids go to, the principal or assistant principal was my husband's fourth grade teacher. So we have like a personable relationship like with the administration in the school. And my kids, when they go in, like, say if we're late, for instance, we go in, like, they're the Kelson twins, but they're not really the twins. They're years apart, but people always say how my middle son looks just like my oldest son, but they're saying my baby boy looks like my middle son, and they're several years apart. And my middle and my oldest are several years apart. But it's so cool that my grandmother, we all look like my grandmother and my great-grandmother. The genes are so strong, and it's such a blessing because, like, I just had a baby niece. So when I look at my niece, I see my mom, I see my grandma, I see my aunt, I see my brothers, both of my brothers. I see my kids in her. And it's just a beautiful thing. Like, the genes, it's just beautiful. Genes are really strong, and, like, it's beautiful to see my genes on a baby girl. Like, I've always wanted a daughter, and God saw fit for me to be a boy mom, and I'm thankful for it, trust me, because I know I was a piece of work. So I know that if I would have had a daughter, she would be a mess. And my boys are a piece of work as well. Just because they're boys doesn't make it easier. People always say, like, being a boy mom is easier than being a girl mom, but I just feel like no matter what you have, a boy or a girl, or one or multiples, like, being a parent is challenging. Being a parent, I feel like that's why they tell you to wait. They tell you to wait until you're situated. Wait until you have everything together. Wait until, you're settled. And that's something that I don't regret having my children when I did, because I feel like my boys all came at a time where I needed them the most. For different reasons, different stages of your life. You go through different things at different stages of your life. But I strongly feel like I didn't have a daughter for a reason. I had boys for a reason. And I believe that now. I understand it. I had boys because I needed to feel that unconditional love. From so many different things, that I went through. In my childhood, adolescence, and even adulthood, I feel like my boys have truly saved my life in more ways than one. So I'm just super thankful. I'm super thankful for a lot of things. I reflect upon a lot of things. In the morning time, usually, I reflect a lot. But I'm just super thankful to be a boy mom. I'm super thankful. Like, my boys are very unique, all three of them. I'm thankful that my oldest son, he's 15. He'll be 16 in a month or so, because it's almost April. But he'll be 16, and I can honestly say, like, my oldest son, he's not out in the street. He's in the house. It's things that I complain about, but it's really like, should I complain about these things when my son could really be doing way worse? He could be out in the mix. He could be mixy. But I'm thankful that he's not like his father and I. Like, I was sociable. I was out and about, 14, I had my first job. I was always about my money. I was never, like, laying around, lounging. Like, I was always, let's go get it. Let's find a solution. Like, that has always been me. But as I look at my kids, I see a lot of my characteristics, but I see a lot of their father's characteristics, and I also see a lot of differences. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful that they're able to be themselves. I always want my kids to feel comfortable with being themselves. I feel like I lecture them a lot, especially my oldest son. He's always like, okay, Mom, but it's like, there's so many things I want to teach him before God takes me away from here. And I always tell him, like, you never know when. It could be today, it could be tomorrow. You just never know. So it's so many things. You may feel like I'm lecturing you. You may feel like I'm always talking, but it's like, I want you to know these things from me. I don't want you to learn them from the street. I don't want you to learn them from somebody else. I want you to be able to say, you know what? My mom taught me this. My mom said this to me. I may have not understood it then, but I get it now, because that was definitely me. Like, my mom has always instilled a lot of different lessons in me. since I was young, because I grew up differently from a lot of people. But I feel like so many things my mom told me, they have stood true even till today. Even today, so many things, and it's like I found myself going back saying, "You was right, Mom." Me and her have a complicated relationship. Not so much today, but we used to. We used to always have like this complicated dynamic and like a lot of tension. But I just thank God for where we are today. We are in a better place today. And I owe it all to God. I owe it all to the Most High. Trust me. Especially, so we had a conversation yesterday, my mom and I, and we were talking about my different challenges as a parent. I had my first son at 19, so I was speaking to her about how I never really wanted kids. I always wanted to be like the cool aunt or like the rich aunt, like that vibe. I never really wanted to have kids because it was a fear of mine, because of, different struggles my mom had. I didn't really want that to reflect on me. I didn't want to have kids because I had that fear of like, something crazy is going to happen, or, I didn't think I would be a good mom. And my mom was just like, you have exceeded my expectations. You are an excellent mom, and no matter what the circumstances were, you did a damn good job. So it was just like, sometimes I feel like we need to hear that. You may know it in your heart, but sometimes you may need to hear it. You might be having a moment where you're down, depressed, angry, frustrated about just life, or, life be life. And so you just never know what moment somebody might be in. But I just feel like sometimes you need to hear that from your parents, or sometimes you may need to hear it from your girlfriends, or sometimes you may need to just hear that, damn, like, you're doing a good job, because like I said, it's hard. Being a parent isn't about just dressing them up and keeping them cute. Being a parent is when it gets hard, and when it gets you down in the dirt with your kids. You standing up for your kids, you fighting for your kids. It's a lot of stereotypes that get placed on our boys and our girls. And guess what? As a parent, it's up to you to stand in the gap for your kids. Like, it's up to you to pray for your babies. Pray over your babies day and night, all day. There's so many things that come up against them, especially in this era. Like, they're growing up in a different era. And I just feel like when we speak about like how it was for us growing up, like, we were able to rip and run the street, be outside. Everybody was family. It was a community. It's not really like that no more, where the kids can rip and run the street and not worry about, being shot, or not worry about, seeing a drug addict up and down the street begging or leaning, or, whatever. Like, it's just like they're growing up in a different time. And like, I'm always praying for these babies, because not only are we faced with a lot as adults, I feel like their whole generation is faced with a lot more. Maybe, it's like we were faced with things too, but I feel like we were equipped to get through them and deal with them. I just feel like their generation, not so much. I feel like it's just so much to touch on when it comes to that. But if you are a parent of a teenager right now that's coming up in this era, this season, you gonna be in my prayers, baby. And guess what? Pray for yourself, pray for your babies, pray for the strength to help them navigate their teenage years, help them navigate their up into their adolescence. Because guess what? You're not really a full-grown adult until you hit 21, 25, things like that, when you are really having to make certain decisions and having to navigate the different stages of your life. I'm just gonna say that. So, if you have teenagers, if you have toddlers, whatever you may have as a parent, I tip my hat out to you. I salute you, because it's not easy to be a parent. Straight up, it's hard. It's hard and it's frustrating, and you're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days. But guess what? If it wasn't meant for you, the Most High wouldn't have picked you to be their parent. I love y'all. Stay beautiful, stay blessed. Don't let nobody ruin your day. It's a beautiful day here in Delaware. Get out and get some sun, get some physical activity, or do anything that raises your vibration, period. I love y'all. Stay beautiful, stay blessed. See y'all later.